Okay, so what is offline conversions? You could say it's a third way of tracking events in Facebook, because Facebook always likes to do things in three, like it has three solutions for everything. So we have the pixel, we have the conversion API. The conversion API picks the data from the tracking that we do from our server, from the client server. And offline conversions is kind of similar in the sense that it picks the data from the customer, the client's CRM. And then it matches that data with the ad click based on the user attributes. So it knows that a certain person with a certain email on Facebook clicked an ad 2 weeks ago, and somehow that email is now registered as a purchase in the client CRM. So it matches that data. Okay, that user with that email made that purchase. And this also gives us 28-day attribution, which Facebook used to give in the past with the pixel. However, right now with the pixel and the conversion API, it only gives 7 days. And for some reason, I don't know, it has kept 28 days for the offline conversions. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so first of all, the offline conversions gives us longer attribution window, which is especially useful for some of our clients that may have longer than 1 week like user journeys, customer journeys. So it's especially useful there. But a second part that's also very important for most of our clients, I believe, it also gives us back the performance breakdowns. So you can now, once again, look at how many purchases you got from Facebook, from Instagram, from the other placements, from women, from men, from certain age groups, like all of that data, all of that breakdown data, we get it back with offline conversions. And we don't get any of that with the pixel and the conversion API. We only get like clicks, impressions, reach, like all of those secondary metrics. Okay, so these would be the two main like reasons why we want to use offline conversions.
Can you just repeat the last reason? Sorry.
Yeah, so the first reason is that we get 28-day attribution. And the second one is that we get performance breakdowns.
Okay.
Which we used to get with the Pixel as well before iOS 14. And after iOS 14, Facebook removed the breakdowns for purchases, for other like primary KPIs. And we only get the breakdowns for like impressions and clicks, and that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Lucian, can you repeat again how it matches from their CRM? It's like email addresses, you said?
Yeah, I'll go into that, like what kind of data we need to feed Facebook with the offline event. But yeah, basically it's kind of the same way it matches everything else, like in general for the Pixel and the conversion API. It uses the emails, the phone numbers, zip codes, like all of this data. But primarily it's email because that's what it uses from the CRM.
There's also
other data. Yeah.
This is like when you see on the Facebook Pixel, like in terms of event quality, like a unique event ID. This is like part of going into that as well, correct, Lucian? Like similar to like a G-CLID aligning, but it's a unique identification for an event.
Yeah. I'm going to go through these like events that we need to give, like not events, but data that we need to give Facebook. And one of them that's very important is timestamp. So the client needs to provide us, like either via Zapier or we upload it manually, the timestamp for the order and the order ID, along with other things. But that's important so that Facebook can match when that sale happened, right? And which sale, and for like who, for which user. Okay, so let's go through the process. I'm going to share my screen and go through the process of like creating the offline event. You can do it manually or with Zapier.
Just a step back on that. So for leads, it will be when the lead came in.
Yeah.
Not when the not when the lead actually
So
to your
when
customer.
all of these like events are registered in the CRM, you have a timestamp for them, an ID, like a lead ID, and then you match that, like you upload that to Facebook, either like manually or with Zapier. Okay, let me share my screen. So either we get the client to create the offline event set, and that would be ideal, but it's not really necessary. We can create it on our end as well. So if they create it, they have to go in business settings, in data sources, and you have like next to pixels, you have offline event set, and then they add it here. So they give it a name and so on. And after this step, they also need to link it to the ad account. So that's the only thing they need to do here. If we do it ourselves, and then they have to share, like they have to share the asset with the partner, which is us, ING. If we do it ourselves, then we just create it for them and we link it to their ad account. So this would be like the first step. And then in the event manager, we'll see the offline set. And this offline set, especially if they only have one, it will appear automatically at the ad level. So at the ad level, just like you see pixel tracking there at the ad level, you'll also see the offline event. So in the events manager here, we can upload the data manually, like you see here. And you actually need to do it the first time. I actually don't remember exactly why, but you need to do it the first time manually. And you have a template, an example of CSV here. I have it here. So it's emails, phone numbers, first name, last name, zip code, city, state, country, date of birth. Not all of them are necessary. So most of these are optional actually. Age, gender, event name, which is purchase. And we'll select that as well. Event time, the value of the purchase, and the currency. So I would say the most important ones are so the email, so it can do that match. The event time, the value, the currency, and that's pretty much it. But of course, you also want to give it other stuff like first name, last name, zip code. But those would be the most important. Okay, so then you upload that CSV or whatever CSV they have that contains that data in columns, because then you can kind of match it, just like you do for customer files in the audiences, in the audience manager. It's very similar. And then you map the data, right? The columns you map it, each one of them. Also some examples here. Like here you can see examples of these parameters, like email, phone number, first name, content ID, which is SKU, but it's not really needed. Order ID is also it's actually needed, order ID. Event time, very important. External ID would be the customer ID. It's not required. However, I believe it helps to improve the match rate on Facebook. Like external ID should be also used for the conversion API, for the pixel, like all of this tracking, so that Facebook can identify a particular user that may do several purchases over a year or however long. Okay, so once you upload this, you'll get, let me see if I can find the screenshot here. I think it's this one. So you'll get something like this. It will show how many rows were accepted, the estimated match rate, which means how many people from the CRM it was able to match with like Facebook users that clicked on ads in the past month. Also something to note here, the first time you upload the data, it can go back 35 days. However, as you keep uploading it, either manually or like through Zapier, the log itself for the data can be up to 90 days. So you can look back 90 days, but after the first couple of months have passed. But the first time you add it, you can only look back 35 days for your data. So even if you give it 6 months of data from the past 6 months, it will only take the last 35 days. Let me know if you have any questions so far. Okay, so this is how we upload it. I have a video tutorial for Zapier, and I believe it also shows how to do it manually. I'll share these resources at the end. Here's how I set it up for Shopify. It's very easy based on that tutorial. So I connected the account. It's an app that's called like Facebook Offline Conversions. Zapier supports that by default. And then I connected the account, the event time, and then you match, just like with the customer file for audiences, you match these columns, right? So the event time, the email, the billing phone number, address, last name, all of this stuff. Price, so values, total price, currency, order ID, order number. This is for Shopify. And the SKU here I also added. And I also added external ID. I'm not sure if it actually picks it or not, because I don't know how to verify it or if I can verify it, but I added this as well. Yeah, so for Shopify, it's very easy. Okay, and now let me show you how it looks in the account. So first of all, you need to create some custom metrics for the offline events. All of these, you should have access to them because I shared them with everyone. So offline CPA is amount spent divided by offline purchases. Offline purchases is online purchases. Offline ROAS is offline purchases conversion value divided by amount spent, right? Offline purchases conversion value, and AOV I created, but we don't really need to look at it. I just want to see it. However, the offline events, so I don't know how to deduplicate them, and I don't know if it's possible. I've looked around, I haven't really found a solution. So normally, it will include both the website events, the ones picked up by the Pixel or the Conversion API, which among themselves, among the Pixel and the Conversion API, are deduplicated or should be deduplicated if the developer set it up properly. But those are also included in offline purchase. Not in offline purchase, sorry. I mean in purchase. So if you look at the purchases column, like the standard purchases column in like this one, purchases, this will include both offline purchases and the duplicated website purchases. So this is why you shouldn't look at these columns, the standard purchases one. Go ahead.
No, I just got it.
Okay. So the way you separate them is look at website purchase.
Could you say that again? Purchases is adding website and offline if you're adding offline. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so the standard purchase metrics, purchase value, cost per purchase, purchase ROAS, like all of these that are standard, that you add them here, those include both, so are duplicated. So you shouldn't use it. You shouldn't use this one.
Oh, that's why suddenly performance looked good.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So you need to separate them into website purchases. If you look at the results column, that is website purchases by default. However, you only have results and cost per result, but you don't have ROAS for the result, and you don't have, let's see what else, like conversion value for the result. So you need to separate them out anyway. Like you need to separate website purchases. So this is why I created custom metrics for this as well. So website purchase ROAS, website purchase conversion value, website purchases, like all of these, you can see website purchases, right? Website CPA is amount spent divided by website purchases. So you need to create them as custom metrics. They exist as data coming from the Facebook API. They already exist. They're just not included in the standard columns. So you need to create them as custom metrics. Okay, so you have these website custom metrics, and then you have the offline custom metrics. You need both of these, so you can look at them separately. And you can see here, you have different different numbers. So first of all, as I mentioned, offline purchases has 20-day attribution. However, it doesn't use modeled data. So after the iOS 14 update, Facebook included this thing where it models number of purchases. So like the idea was to give you a more accurate number of purchases, like the total, because otherwise it lost a lot of those purchases that it could track post iOS 14. So it could no longer track a portion of the purchases. So the solution for this was to model, like to create a number of that should be more accurate of total purchases. So this is why website purchases may still show a higher number, among other things. But this would be like the primary reason. It could include modeled purchases in this, while the offline purchases is not modeled. So this 72 actually happened. They are actually registered in the CRM. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, so website purchase, offline purchases, CPA, ROAS, you can compare the two. Conversion value, AOV even. Okay, and let me show some examples here too. So for the breakdowns, they're very important, and I would trust this data, primarily the offline data, especially for breakdowns, where you can see, for instance, in this case, that the 35 to 44 age group has like under half the CPA compared to the others. And if you didn't have the offline purchase data, you wouldn't know this. Like, there would be no way to know except looking at number of impressions, but that could be extremely misleading. Because you can see here that the amount spent, for instance, which you can see by default, even without offline purchase data, it's pretty much equal. Like all of these groups have almost the same amount of spent. So then how do you know which one performed significantly better or not, right? You don't really know. But offline data can show you. Devices, offline CPA, offline ROAS, female, male, which you can see for the website events, Facebook, Instagram, placements. Even products, like if they're tracked properly by product ID and all of that, you can even see the CPA by product, even for catalog campaigns. Time of day. All of this data you could see before iOS 14, but you can no longer see it. I think that's all I wanted to go through today. So let me know if you have any questions. I couldn't catch that.
No, I don't have any question. It was really helpful. And I think I'm definitely gonna try to implement it on some clients.
Yeah, and something else I checked for another client. So I'm actually not sure because I saw it for a custom conversion, but I didn't see it for others. So I would encourage the clients that implement this to use the standard events, like the standard event names, even if it's like a business to business or lead type of client. They should use the standard events, add to cart or whatever it is to meet application, but they should be standard events, because then you can create the custom columns for those, the custom metrics. You get that data for the standard ones, but you might not get it for custom invented metrics like second step or whatever you want to call the custom conversion. You might not get the offline data for that. Any other questions?
No, this is awesome. Thank you, Lucian.
Yeah, and if you have reports, I also mentioned this to Greg last week, and those reports are taking the standard purchase data and you implement offline conversion, you start uploading them even yourself manually, those numbers will be duplicated already. So you need to make sure that the reports start picking up. If you want just the numbers from before, make sure to replace the standard purchase with website purchase. So all of those relevant metrics, you switch them to website purchase, website ROAS, website CPA, and so on. And if you want the offline one, then you'll need to track those in the reports. Like you need to, in the API there, I don't know how Greg does it, but those numbers need to be picked up, the offline numbers from the API. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lucian. That's great.
Sure.
Thank you.
No problem.